Yes, yes, y'all. What is up, everybody? Thank you, Oblivious to me with 87 months, Novarius with 102 months. Don't have a lot of time today, so we're just going to get right down to it, baby. Do you have a list of demos you already played? Yes, I do. It's my Steam. It's on my Steam right here. I'll show you. It's right here, starting at Retro Space and going up to Hack 95. Those are the ones I played. Well, besides Digimon Storytime Stranger, because that was the if-then winner's choice of this month. So, taking that one out, all of the rest of these I played at least a little bit of. Some of them I played like 5 minutes because they weren't for me, or I didn't like them, or whatever. Some of them I played, I think the longest I played one was just under an hour. So, I don't play them for too long, for too overly long, but I do play them. All right. But yeah, dude, look at this. We were at 120 suggestions yesterday, and we have cut that all the way down to 134 because I added all of the suggestions from yesterday. So we've gone from 120 all the way down to 134. We're good. It's good. Yeah. Progress? Question mark? Yeah, progress, exactly. All right. Let's just begin because we got a short day today. We got about 2 hours 45 minutes to get some shit in because I am going to leave early to watch the goddamn fucking World Cup apparently. So, I'm excited. I'm actually excited about it. I'm excited. It'll be like I'll be there with someone from England watching England play soccer. So, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, but it's still like a sports thing. So I'm like, Yeah, England is playing Christmas and fun. Who is England playing today? I don't even fucking know. All right. Croatia, there you go. England's gonna beat the pants off Croatia, right? Pretty sure. Anyway. 90. Okay, I gotta roll on to 90. Good luck. 1D90. Let's see what the first game is today. It's a 16. Let's see. It looks like character limit. Let's see if that's something we want to play. Character limit. What is this? A fast-paced typing word game? Shit, yeah, let's go! All right, let's delete cells and shift up. Download. Install. Let's get this going right here. Character limit. Beautiful. Okay. 12 letters, no mercy. A fast-paced typing word game. Build words before your rack overflows. How long can you last before you hit your character limit? Let's fucking play, dude. No time to waste. Let's go. A typing game? I'm in. You bet. All right, demo. Let's go. Play a shorter normal mode, merciless, no repeats. Okay. Oh, purge vowels, sweep, and wildcard. Okay. He? Oh, too short. Okay, okay. How about hex? Okay, hex works. Okay. Oh my God, give me more A's, please. How about some A's? Okay. Oh, God. Shaft. Shafe? Shafe? AFE? How about just safe? Cage. Cage? No. Cooge. Oh my god. Shig. Shag. There you go. Bye. Bicu. Bice. Ice. No. Ice. How about just. No. Ice. Jesus. Based. There we go. Now we're doing it. Acute. Boom. Iota. Yeah. Rome. Well, Rome's proper. I can't do Rome, right? It's proper. Oh, Rome works. It works. Totally works. Radar. Garod. Dorg. Grades. There you go. Goose. Gooses? Gooses works. Let's go. Bovide. Video. Okay. Herb. There you go. Fafo. Fuck around and find out. Faft. Feed. Feeded. I can't do feeded. Okay. I can do leash. Leash. I can do leash. I can do you. Oh, no. There you go. Oh, I died, yo.
I do appreciate your money.
That would be fucking
Iota again.
Fuck off, sick.
No repeats allowed. Oh shit. Huge.
Mel Gibson uses a Christian computer. Jesus is hacking with me.
Voted.
Jesus, take the keyboard.
Hey, God damn it. City. Joanne. Jovial. No, Noel. Damn it. Thank you, Kiskaloo. Fucking asshole. Fuck off, Spencer. Thank you for the bits. Lickety Split. Thank you for the 5 months. And, it's gone, dude. Fucking asshole. Fuck off is gone. I'm sorry, Pete. It's gone, dude. It's been replaced with, this one.
Yeah, baby.
All right, we'll play one more time and then we'll switch. We kind of get this game. Okay, let's go. Oh, I didn't even do... Oh, purge vowels. I could have purged the vowels. Yeti. Sally. Last. Laser. Sail. Fate. Fat. God damn it. I can't get away from it. Doot. Tude. Oh, a tude. I know it's a short word, but nope, tude is not in there. Okay. Yeet. Nope, yeet's not in there. Deter. There we go. Year. Anal. Uno is not one. No, I was gonna say. Yeah. Oh, anon. Q. Vu. Tivu. Tout. Voit. Okay, hold on. Sweep. I don't know what sweep means. Trivia. Oh, no, wait. No, another. Oh, damn it. Percivals. Shit. Grunt. There we go. Set. Verse it. Verse. Verse will work. Stint. Wow. Wow. Q again. Oh, no repeats. Right. Juice. Give me an I. Guz. Key. Jug. Crave. New in noon. Ruin. See. See. In a bit. None. Nope. None. Oh, wait. Okay, gone then. Okay. Royal. Whap. Wet ass pussy. Wump. Piney. That works. Okay. Let's do a wild card. Oh, wait. No. Oh, you can shuffle with 4. Oh, god damn it. Shit. Oh well. I like it. That's a fun little game. I panicked. I totally panicked. Yep, I panicked. All right, cool. All right, I get it. It's fun. Dig it. All right, that's character limit. Next game, we're going to roll on a 1d44. And if you want to know why there's 2 sides, it's because these ones are suggested by you guys. And the ones on the B side are the ones I've already wishlisted from the Summer Games Fest showcases. So I know these are basically like your choices, my choices. Like these ones I've already had wishlisted, so I looked them up and put them on the B side. So that's why there's 2 sides. Okay, let's do 1d44, and what do we get? A 15. The ones with an asterisk, I took those out. I took the asterisk off of them. 15. Don't fret. Oh, the guitar game. Yeah. Okay. Where you play as a ukulele or something? Okay. Don't fret. There we go. All right. A sentient guitar trapped inside a nightmare music school. Hide, distract, and survive horrifying creatures as you tune your way through musical puzzles and fractured memories to uncover the truth. Developed by Scary Kid Studios, published by Digital Pajamas and Behavior Interactive, Inc. Looks like it's due out October 1st. All right, let's get that put up on the board here. We're running through these fast and furious. Don't fret. Okay. Let's play. Digital Pajamas. Isn't that sweet? Oh. Epilepsy warning. Come on now. I don't have a lot of time, game. Let's go. This demo has been carefully arranged to preserve the story while showcasing the creativity and variety of the full game. Okay. The music in Dote Friend is fully DMCA safe and copyright free. Hey, that's great. I love it. Thank you. I'm really thinking this is a controller game, so I'm gonna plug in the old comptroller here. Oh, Dad's mad. He came home and he's been drinking.
Mara! Open up! It's me. We're gonna be late. Did you change the locks on me? You've got to be kidding me.
I was
Where's
joking.
the boy?
Oh God, I was joking, but this
Mara,
is
go get me Fred. You're not getting away with this!
Fred, go hide.
Okie dokie. He took his guitar into the closet with him. Oh, because he knows that he can change into a guitar. That was a good start. I'm glad we kind of know what, like, this game deals with some serious issues.
What? Where am I?
Oh, is it first person? I thought it was third. I got my hat, my journal, and my walkie-talkie.
Hello? Hello? Fred?
It is first
Are you
person.
there?
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. Who is this?
Fred, listen, it's not safe. Get access into the main hall and I'll check back with you soon.
Sorry, I dropped my sub, but things go as things go. Oh, Worsty, you're fine. You are not the Worsty. I've just written a book called 50 Shades of Gravy. It's very saucy. Shame on you. Shame on you. There, now I can sprint. Okay. Who is that? Partly Tom giving a sub to the Worsty. There you go. Tripped over your sub in the parking lot. Love it. No cause for alarm. From the office of the president, some faculty have expressed concerns over the recent addition of so-called red doors to several locations in the school. Please do not interfere with their construction and do not, under any circumstances, enter them. There is no cause for alarm. Activate G-pad.
Keypad systems online.
The G-pad, every guitarist's favorite keypad. Play the correct chord progression to gain access. Remember, depending on your unique code, you may need to switch between major and minor chords.
Okay.
Be quick. The G-pad will temporarily shut down if the timer runs out before you enter your code.
Camera bobbing off. Okay. Oh. Apply. Yeah, apply that. Oh, motion blur off. There we go. There we go. Oh, I have a stamina meter. Damn, Seagam! So you don't really have to know the chords, you just, you know, have to know, like, your alphabet. Do you know your alphabet?
Hey, I made it into the main hall.
Great, okay. Now you just need to retrieve a talent canister.
A what?
A talent canister. They're hidden behind red doors all around the school. Trust me, you'll know when you see one. I've gotta go. Good luck, Fred.
Talent
Okay,
canisters.
so red doors and talent canisters.
Got it.
Right.
Been here forever, since June 25, 1994, I think. It's hard to keep track of time here. The days never seem to end. It's like I've been here forever. June 26, 1994, I think. It's hard to keep track of time here. Oh. Throwables. So you actually just throw the fucking guitar or the uke? You throw the uke at him? Oh, can
I need to find a way to get over this.
Oh. Oh, space is dash. Okay.
I need to find a way to get over this.
Yeah, I figured. Missing Rachel McFadden.
There must be something around to place on this.
Not that, apparently. Her face is all messed up. We miss you, Rachel. Always in our hearts. Rachel's violin. A violin rests in a place of honor. Oh, okay. So I've got to find Rachel's violin. A song by Longest Solo Ever called Talk. Notes, okay. Okay, so that's a collectible. Okay. Stragglers. Some services increase detection from enemies. Oh, like glass. Okay. Well, I'm gonna stomp all over it.
It's locked. I need a key.
Huh, there we go. Oh, I can't run. I can slide though. AV room keys, let's go. Uh-oh! The duct tape monster? Oh, it's a straggler. Hey! Ow! Yeah, go check that out over there. There you go. Okay, I guess I do that afterward. A guitar tuner.
Howdy there, students. Bob the Info Guy here with today's Spotlight. The Conduct Tech all-in-one guitar tuner. Now, this ain't your average tuner, folks. No siree, Bob. It's been enhanced to give every rising star here at Harmonic Heights a fair shot. Equal opportunity, baby. Here's the quick breakdown. Top needle is your danger radar. If it bounces, something's nearby. Bottom left icon is your health, and the circle around it is your stamina. It'll drain if you're tuckered out. Last, but definitely not least, it has a sonic blast function. Hold down your primary button, and it'll charge up and go boom. It does take a few seconds to charge, so be sure to hold it down all the way. Remember to always be on the hunt for batteries, because this thing burns through them. Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
You're in control. Take it out when you need it, holster it if you don't. Can't remember all that? Don't worry. Check your inventory for a reminder.
Oh. Okay. So I used up my one blast testing it, and now I don't have any. Okay, good.
My little ones just love the taste of Harmonic Heights forget-me-not cookies, made with farm fresh eggs, real chocolate, and plenty of love.
Fast track your child's success and leave your morals.
Sergeant Struthers with 5 years. Thank you, Sergeant Struthers.
Pushing the boundaries of medical ethics off a bridge since 1951.
Okay. Couldn't get away. Something came out of that thing, like it was being birthed or something. I tried to approach, but it attacked me, got between me and the door. I managed to get into the vent, but I think it's still out there. Large heartstrings can, selected. Oh. Use heartstrings to heal at EMS machines. Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. I would love to play it. I am not. Okay. Okay, it's going. Okay. Circles by Rocket Music. Do you do game trailer reactions? I mean, during Summer Game Fest, yeah, sure. But not regularly. When there's showcases and such. Nerdcore horror musician and video creator with a mix of heavy EDM and rock beats and even heavier vocals. Explore to find numbers and dial at payphones. Oh, okay, so I haven't found any numbers yet. All right. All right. I would suggest, Carrie, if you want to discuss that, send me an email, Zeke3biz@gmail.
It's locked. I need a key.
Okay. The music says I'm not safe, but the thing says I'm safe. My PKE meter or whatever. Oh, that was the other place I was already at.
There must be another way inside.
Where are those guys?
I think I found one of those red doors you were talking about.
Can you get through?
It looks like I need to unlock this gate first.
There should be a G-pad terminal inside of Music Theory. Come on, Fred, hurry.
Use hurdy crates near high vents to get up. Like, oh, like a hurdy-gurdy? Ah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Key to the music theory classroom. Okay. What? There we go. Okay, that's what we had to do. This isn't it. Well, that's bad news. Hey! Ow! Ah, God damn it! How do you like being clipped in a door, you prick? Ah! Okay. Don't whine, practice. Creepy. Oh, 555 stun. Okay, so we have a number now.
Yesterday, Lionel Messi scored his first ever hat-trick in the FIFA World Cup in a 3-0 victory over Algeria.
Nice!
Yesterday, I yawped it 3 times, and that was the 1,176th time I have done that.
Yeah, you bet, you bet. Mother song. Oh, okay, they're on different thing. Okay. So, red, green, yellow, blue. BFCE. BFCE. Oh, no. Play them? Oh, there we go. Okay. B. F. C, D. Wait. B, F, C, E. Okay. There we go. Ah! Ah! What'd I do? What did I do? It's Omega. Hold on, it's Omega Lol. The teacher is Omega Lol. Maybe it was high C. So B, F, C, E. Oops. Shit. Yeah. B, E, F, C. No. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. It was high C. See, it is Omega Lol. Do you see it? Thank you, Gorilla Burrito, by the way, with the 44 months. I thought there was going to be a fun little game where you play as a guitar. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Jesus. I really did. I was like a lighthearted, cozy game where you play as a guitar. Nope. It's a horror game. I guess I didn't look at the tags very well. Okay, I was a little distracted by her bashing her head. Like, what did that accomplish? Oh, there we go. Nope. There we go. Make it permanent. Mr. Half, my life is hell without you. It's hell in my head. I don't care what he does to me. I have to see you one more time. Maybe there is some way to make our love permanent. No, but really, guys, help me out here. Oh, never mind. I just had to walk into a cutscene.
Attention staff, containment breach, subject 1. Report to your designated security station.
I feel like she wants me to fail. She's always watching me. There we go. Enter the red door. Okay. I just had to walk far enough. Oh shit! It's Mr. Tapehead! Oh, he got me. And he ripped off my fucking head. Okay. Well, that didn't work. I wasn't close enough. Ah, C, G, B, F. Damn it! The sequel to Mixtape is a lot different than the original. No, it's different. There you go. Through the door. Oh God, okay. Okay, so good to know that the cord things are randomized.
There was this thing chasing me.
This place, something has gone terribly wrong. I need you to focus. That red door takes you somewhere evil. There's a talent canister in there. You need to retrieve it and get back. It's our only way out.
I see a red door and I want it painted black. End of demo? That'd be a good end of demo if it was. Ecolian with 3 months. Thank you, Ecolian.
Huzzah! You made it! Oh, don't look so frightened, my boy. Oh, you've come to a rather difficult passage, I'm afraid. This is her domain. A place where the world has, shall we say, slipped out of alignment. Things are darker here, and a bit less forgiving. But you're on the right track. The object of your desire is just ahead. Oh, and Fred, she knows you're here. Now run along.
Okay.
Hello, Fred. I want to play a game. The rules are simple.
What? What is this?
Just keep moving. Don't look around at the weird Silent Hill environment. Talent canister. Hey, I got one. Man, if it was only that easy. Shit, she's back. Oh, God. Let me out. Let me in, you rotten bastard. You filthy shits. Let me in. I mean, rightly so, they got the sound design down pretty good. It's tense. You really read my lobster. Thanks, Stephanie. Battery cache will restart your batteries to full capacity. 5? Holy shit. Where's the heartstrings thing? There it is. Heal me. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, yes. I don't want to go that way.
What was that place?
Fred, where have you been?
I have no idea, but I have the talent canister.
Okay, that's good. Oh, Fred, you've got to get out of there. Can you see a way out?
There's a vent in here.
Oh, I'm waiting for her inevitable betrayal, dude.
All right. Be careful, Fred.
She's gonna pull a Bioshock on me. Fred, would you kindly bring the talent canister to me? Start generator with the 808. I know y'all wanted that 808.
Attention staff. Subsonic generators online.
A Vitruvian baghead. A diagram of a girl wearing a bag over her head. A note at the bottom says, saw one in the subsonic generator room. Okay. Cause I like the way you move.
Of course. There must be a way around.
Oh, man. Mamacita.
What? Did you see that?
Those things, they rely on smell. Being quiet isn't gonna help you here, Fred. Make sure to keep your tuner out. You're gonna need it.
Okay. They rely on smell? Outside power. Forever cut off from the outside power, living experiments will rot. The subsonic generator ensures that will never happen as long as we have living experiments to power it. Whatever you do, don't make a fart. Oh, fool of a took! They are coming.
Hey, little guys. I gotcha. The gate! It's closing!
Fred, you must have triggered an emergency shutdown. You need to get out of there!
Okay!
Warning. Subsonic calibration testing will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Hallelujah. How did I make a smell though? I don't get it. I'm guessing it just means like proximity. What do I do, dude?
Subsonic calibration complete.
Okay. God damn it. California. Don't call me California. I don't know anyone in California. Play a sound sample. Give us a good fart. There you go. Noise. All right, what was I supposed to do with this? Oh my God, he's still there! I don't get it. Like, what is he smelling? Do you ever have one of those fart bubbles on a hot day when you're sitting down and you can feel them traveling up your crack and up your back? Yes, I have. Those ones that they go bloop and you feel them like going all the way up your butt crack and then out the top of your pants.
Welcome, welcome. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here at Harmonic Heights.
This seems like the end of the demo.
Fred, no matter what happens, I want you to know I always loved you.
Hello?
You're in Harmonic Heights.
I like that the guitar I am is wearing Chuck Taylor's. That's fun.
Things always look strange here.
Oh, Fred! I was wondering when you'd finally find time to pay me a visit. The only way for a student to leave Harmonic Heights is the winter recital. Scattered around the school are talent canisters, each containing the very essence of brilliance and potential.
What are these things?
I don't know, Fred. Nobody does.
You've given me no choice. You made me do this.
And Fred, she knows you're here. Now run along.
There you go, October 1st.
It's a world of mystery. Don't bet. Strum along and you will see. Don't bet. Doesn't matter what you wanna be, and even though you're gonna die, don't bet.
All right, there we go. That was the demo. And now we quit. Yes. And it's already on my wish list, so I don't need to do that. Stop it, ad block. All right, that was Don't Fret, and that was on the B side. So we're going to do A side now, 1D89. Let's keep going, baby. 89. What are we going to play next? 79. Let's see what that is. Looks like Time to Wake Up. Time to Wake Up. Let's see. Time to Wake Up. Oh, it's an anomaly game. Okay. You're stuck in a dream. All right. Delete those and shift up. Download.
Blink and reveal your past. Think, Alan.
Seems like an anomaly game.
Where is he? We'll get him. One blink at a time.
All right, you're stuck in a dream. Blink and change your surroundings to escape the shadows of your past. Oh, maybe not an anomaly game. So you blink to change what you're looking at.
To wake up.
Okay, interesting. Developed and published by I Blink Twice. It's coming out Q3 of this year, apparently. Let's do it. Yep, I got 1666 already on there. Amsterdam's right at the top because it starts with a number. I put them in alphabetical order. Also, you ever lit a fart on fire? Oh, yeah. I definitely have. Okay. This one should work as view only for my spreadsheet. I really hope it's view only. Otherwise, you guys are going to fuck up all my shit, but that should work if you want to look at it. It is view only. Good. Okay. Let's get hacking. Yeah, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Thank you. It's 4:20. Oh, 4:23.
As long as I can wash my face. Empty.
When it comes time for you to hear that noise, it won't be for very long. That was a fire alarm, you dick. It wasn't an EKG. So I've read The Tragedy Called Existence for the third time now, and I was wondering, if life was a burden all along, one you've never asked for, why keep living? Why aren't we allowed to deny the present that is life? Because we've already accepted it the moment we were born. There is no choice, there is no consent, if you will. It's only years later we become aware of that present. One that we should cherish, celebrate with attained peace of mind. Why keep living? Because we don't know what comes after. Will peace still be achievable? We're not sure. That's why we should avoid ending our time prematurely and focus on transforming it by all means necessary, whenever our mind demands it. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. No worries. Also, I think you're doing just fine. Alan. No.
Oh, shut your mouth. Okay. No, not the fridge.
Fridge. There it is. It's a mini fridge.
But the fridge is my life.
Oh, AM alone?
We have a circuit
AM alone?
Yeah. Not really.
I need socks, medicine, shirt, books, paper, marker, microwave lunch, toothpaste, paper plates, and money! Money. I need lots of money. Oh, there's a circuit breaker right there.
Ah. Shut up!
Hi, it's me, your new neighbor over at number 8. I'm Samantha. Everyone calls me Sam. I have 2 questions. What's your name? Wanna go grab a drink, maybe? We haven't met yet, and there's a power outage anyway, so what do you say? Okay, I lied. That's 3 questions for you. Sorry.
A lady is asking a person she's never met out for a drink. This is a horror game. A horror game. It never happens.
You're crazy if you don't open that door right now. Where? Did I leave them in the sink again?
Can I move? No, I can't move. Nope.
Oh, crap. Where?
Yeah, totally a work of fiction. There you are. Oh, pills are good. Pills are good.
Bedtime.
Yummy, yummy pills.
Instead, how long ago did we have a decent night's sleep in this bed? 6 months ago, perhaps. Shut up. Shut. Maybe.
I'll just fall asleep in the sink. No problem.
Great. Alan Malone.
Alan Malone.
Close your eyes and pretend everything
Wait,
is
A.
fine.
Wake? Alan Wake?
I get to dwell in your messed up head. When will you finally take care of yourself? Take care of me. Alan, if you can hear me, I can't do this alone. Come here. Please.
Oh, maybe I'm a cat tonguey one. Maybe that's the twist. The twist is that I am a cat and I sleep in the sink.
What are you? Alan?
What?
You're here?
I am.
Finally!
Yeah. Oh, I'm in the sink.
I'm so glad you're here. Oh, here. Let me open this door for you.
Okay. Thank you. A little on the nose calling me Alan, but we'll gloss over that for now.
Talking about eyes. Try to blink.
Look, blink, remember.
Yes, like that.
Okay. Baby, I'm that time you make it all do. I miss you so. Need you go. Take these broken wings. Sorry. I don't know why that reminded me of that song, but it did.
Your eyes will come in handy. One blink, and you reveal your past.
Aha. Yeah, okay.
Your past. Our past.
Holy fuck, that bed is enormous. God, I wish I had that bed. Oh, I love this. This is like a Montana king, a Texas king. Being myself, hardest thing I've ever done. My mom never liked my hair. Making teams, never again. Sports weren't for me anyway. Alone, free, and safe, and big books, of course. I'm reading. What you reading for, nerd?
Remember your old bedroom closet? How many times did you hide in there?
Hold on. What does it mean, can I stay here? Oh, the picture's changed.
Oh, no. We are not doing this. You're going to blink and remember what happened so we can leave this place. Understood?
Okay. I breathe with my eyes. Oh, okay. The dialogue doesn't change, just the pictures. Okay.
The coats. Let me.
Oh, thanks. Hell is other people.
How many times did you write in there? Here, to keep track of it all. Now, take a look.
It's in a book, The Reading Rainbow.
You're gonna look so good sucking. It's gonna look so good.
Suck my dick!
Friends to know.
My
neighbor, nephew, niece, nimble kitty friend. I think that's my favorite. Nimble kitty friend.
Okay. Why can't I talk in here?
And why am I naked?
Am I really dreaming? Asleep. Both. Am I really in my own bedroom? And this voice, it doesn't stop talking. Should I keep my thoughts to myself? Or share them with him?
Show-to voice.
So that's why you don't speak up.
Yeah.
And hey, good luck finding a way out without me.
I won't.
I do appreciate you sharing your thoughts, though. As for your questions, I don't know why you can't talk. Told you you're dreaming, so yes, 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 and yes, you're in your childhood bedroom.
Okay. Oh, back? Okay. Well, now...
What book was it again? The one that said, life is chaos? Why did you apply those words everywhere?
Red strings. If life is chess, then cash is king, but time is queen. During the day, I am too little. At night, I am too much. Never am I just enough. When in bed, waves of memories crash against my sanity, I think. They looked at me, for they had not forsaken me. I had forsaken them. To go wrong in one's own way is better than to go right in someone else's. Many terrible things in my life never happened. Oh, it's a microwave.
Hi, honey. I'm having a meeting tonight. Food is in the fridge.
Oh, it's like Meow Wolf.
Pretty ironic that one day you lost that very book. Your favorite one, at that. You even considered the writer, Tom, to be your friend.
Good news, bad news. Bad news, I forgot about your birthday and I can't make it. Good news, Frank and I got you a book. Enjoy it, sweetie.
Fuck. Terrible mother. Getting me a book? A book?
Tom's book is not in here. If only it were that easy.
Unless it's the Necronomicon, I don't want it.
To consider consider a writer your friend? Why did you let his book take over our life? Why else did Mom and Dad forbid you to keep reading it?
Dude, I dig this, man. Whenever I lie in bed, waves and image thoughts crash against my temper. I ripped the glued mask off my face, and for the first time, I felt free. I've always wondered whether the guy in the mirror is also checking me out.
If you like reading that much, then here's a cookbook. We're not a hotel, young man.
I made a giant pizza, Mom. Do you love me yet?
Why did you get him that book? Hell is other people. Is that how we raise him?
It was only $2. He isn't even mine. Why should I pay full price?
Where's my $2?
Okay, stop. For God's sake, please, can't you think of something else now? I'm done with your problems. I'm done with your obsession. I'm done with Tom.
They had not forsaken me. I had, okay. Where were you, Tom? Where have you been all my life? If I had met you sooner, I could have won some arguments. The ones about my hair, my shoes. Hell, even the ones about what I put on my sandwiches. Dear Tom, it feels weird to call you that. I never say dear, not to anyone I know. But I feel as if I've known you for years. And every time your words reach me, they console me.
Sorry.
Hey Tom, sometimes I wonder whether people care about me. I'm part of a group, but it's as if they don't see me. Will they even remember me once school is over? Tom, so many thoughts cross my mind in class, and none of them have to do with the subjects. Every day I long for this moment, this short-lived bombardment of words I can only let go on this screen. You ready for the footy later? Yeah, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to watch some football. Gonna watch England kick the shit out of Croatia? Go England song. Also, I'm gonna be singing songs too. I'm gonna learn some England songs. I am actually excited. Don't let my demeanor fool you. Like, I'm being sarcastic right now, but I am actually excited to. I like watching sporting events with people who are, you know, into it. Why do they hate you, Tom? Why did Mom and Dad not allow me to keep you here? Don't tell me they never hid something they loved. They're not gods. They invested so much in me. Is that what I am, an investment? Tom, what have I done? I had to talk in front of class and I confessed. I told them I don't feel at home with them, only with you. I sensed nobody took it the right way. That group I mentioned, long gone the moment I arrived.
Wasn't this quote the one that sparked your book obsession? Nice catch.
Yeah.
We better fix it.
I love that. Many terrible things in my life never happened. True. Okay, so see a present, pick it up, and then put it down. Got it. Oh. Am I missing something that I
How
can...
did that quote end again?
That I can pick up?
I'm sure it's here somewhere.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I gotta complete the
First
thing.
we find Tom's book, then you can go shred his stuff up. Deal?
Yep, Tom's book, shredded up, got it. So I'm in a giant clock.
All right. Ready to rise above your past?
Yep.
Up we go.
Okay. Oh my God. Burp, Charlie! Burp!
Well, question. Do your eyes have full control over here? No need to write down an answer in that journal. I'll help you wherever I can. Now, focus. Where did we first meet Tom? Let's start there. Writing in our journal. I still don't know if I should trust him. This voice. Where are they taking me? Alan, we're literally going where you think.
Yes, my eyes have... I'm blinking myself, yes.
Where you blink we're going. All set? I'm counting on you, Alan. Okay. Open sesame. We thought a lot about homework in these halls. Including your essay.
Think you're better than us, moron?
Guess you didn't like your A's. Where did the other scraps?
Oh, okay. So I gotta find the other scraps for this.
We're not handing in a torn up essay. Where are the other pieces? All right, first one down. Put it on the desk. What jackass tore up your essay anyway? Was it Vince? Flynn?
I don't have a plan, C-Style. No worries, Tom. We're all gonna die soon. See you in hell. Write down a 2-page concerning Philton's hell as other people. People can be rough, sure, but what's the point of crying about it? I know, wasting my time. I know, I'm trying to find it, dude. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, the voice command is not relevant anymore, but that's why Scott changed it. Z's vocal cords got damaged from throating dudes, but it's all good now. Whoever wrote this obviously doesn't know that without people, the earth would die. What? What? I'd rather suffocate. No way I'm writing this essay. This is an essay about how I don't give a flying shit about Tom or his books. Oh, there we go.
Another one for the desk.
Oh, I saw another one on the thing there.
Brad? Bill? Yeah. Bill? Well, Billy.
There we
See
go.
how easy that was? That's why you can't get an A. Why should you? You're already a first-class a-hole. Oh, I guess Billy didn't like that.
Who the fuck is Billy? How are you doing is not a sincere question, but an unskippable statement in dialogue. Many times I have pondered the question, what purpose communication serves? To establish clarity on a deep level and intimacy on a most superficial level to inspire respect as both parties regularly switch between the roles of listener and speaker. Yet what happens when a question about no one's well-being is being raised and there's a clear lack of interest about the response? In what follows, I will dive into the psychological effects that this question bears on the mind of the recipient.
Handed it in.
Yeah.
I'd shove it away as well, but that essay was key. It was key to opening Tom's door, key to a deeper, emotional part of you that you never knew existed. Why were you afraid of sharing that part with others? There's a Billy around every corner, you know. Why stay hidden and read away?
Kid, don't let me catch you in here again, Gary. Gary? Crowd, doubt. Never. Follow.
Any chance the book is here?
Shout.
Too bad. At least you didn't skip classes that taught you.
3 helpful talking points for footsie ball this afternoon. Did you see Lionel Messi got a hat trick? Did you hear that the Fox network has been fined for breaking FIFA television rules? Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
It was Tom who taught you how to play with them, how to think.
Thank you. I'll try to remember those.
How exactly did you associate meaningful friendships with sticking quotes to lockers?
Never doubt, never shout, and never follow a crowd. Oh, okay. All right, I'm trying to get up there. Oh. Okay. Sort of.
Well.
Oh, there we go. I needed the step. There we go.
Okay.
Doofus.
This quote.
Doofus.
Pages. That's one, and the rest. No offense, but at your rate, we'll never reach.
Take off your shoes, grab a book, drink your tea near the fire, look up to the stars inside. You're not alone. You are free.
School was all about expressing yourself. What does this voice know about expressing yourself? Hey, I'm just trying to help. That's all. See this? This is getting us nowhere. Oh.
How I made him think and wonder to the point where he thought, am I alive? Am I real? Is this place real? Nerd! You fucking nerd. Okay, so I need to pick up something and smash it on that. Perhaps. No. Ah, there we go.
Let me.
Thank you.
There. Tom's book.
No! No, my only friend! My book!
Oh, no good.
My cabbages!
Blink. Again. One more. No. I was going to.
All right, here we go.
Over here.
Hey, my friend! I think. Good. No. No.
Good thing you remember Helen. At least someone was going to be peace. Still, in just a couple of weeks, Billy turned more and more against him. Why didn't you do something?
Why don't you do something, stupid voice? We walk the line that knows no end. The line leaves no break or a friend. The line was not always there. We learnt to draw with our mind, draw it with our mind. And so the line became a box. Its opening hard to find. And down I go! Or up I go! What?
Here, let me.
Thank you.
Go on. Hey, do windows have any use here? Wait.
What?
Focus in front. Grab it.
Oh, I see. It's in front of the class. There you go. Go, 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 go,
It's
go.
not getting away this time.
Nope, it's not. We're gonna get it. Here it comes.
Ah, of course. Don't worry about them. Crap. Hold on.
Okay.
You deserve some of that, but I won't let them harm you.
Asshole.
Where have you taken us now?
I don't know!
To your writings? I mean, Tom's writings?
Alan, stop reading and writing nonsense during class. One more time, and I will confiscate that wretched book.
Even Mrs. Harris started noticing your scribbles. And her apples? She was practically spitting in your face.
I shall not fail, nor shall I tumble as long as my wall does not crumble.
You asked for it.
Oh, she's gonna take my book away.
Why did you let that old hag of a teacher berate you like that?
Because I'm a kid. Teachers are authority. I don't know. Thirst for a sweaty face, not a glass of water. Hunger for a growling belly, not a loaf of bread.
Unfortunately for you, they weren't all so patient with you. Or have you forgotten Mr. Nigel's message?
Oh. What the fuck? Oh, up we go. Nope. No.
That was
no.
never
No. No. Who's that? Rocktard, thank you for the 81 months. All right. I'm going to see where this goes. Just a little.
Almost there.
Oh. Oh, I don't go over there. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. What is happening? Yeah, there we go. Right here.
I'm not taking that book from you, but I am going to keep your focus on class.
What is with some of these
throw at a
voiceovers?
time.
They are not leveled. Oh, I get it. Oh no, I dropped the thing. No, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm a big dumb idiot. All right. It seems like the end of the demo should be coming up soon.
The more you wrote, the more they looked at you for the stranger you had become. So, of course,
they all
the only
turn to
thing
look
you
at me, of
remember
course.
then, and remember to this day, is their god-awful stare.
That's it. Give it here.
All right, Mr. Nigel. The beaten path is the one to avoid because it has nothing to say. It has already been destroyed, so why not carve your very own way? If it's not on the list, no one suggested it.
Now,
Unless I missed it,
didn't
which
we
is
keep
impossible.
Tom's book in your locker.
Okay. I think it's good. I think we've seen it. That's a cool idea, man. I like it. It's very, it gives me a little bit of Stanley Parable kind of vibes. Dig it. Okay. All right. Let's see. That was on A side. Let's do B side now. B side is 43. Okay. 28. And Mimic Meadows. Oh, this game. I know this game. This game is, yeah, okay. Let's check it out. Mimic.
Blink and reveal your
Meadows.
past.
There we go.
Think.
An eccentric puzzle game. Wait a minute. About transforming into animals by mimicking their movements. Solve mind-bending puzzles by pushing this power to its wacky limits and dig deeper to uncover the many secrets of the Meadows. This is the Baba Is You kind of a thing. Developed by and published by Sorencho. Coming soon, it says. Jeez. They are howling. Something's happening. Okay. Called Mimic. Oops. Meadows. There we go. Yeah, absolutely. Head to my Discord, demo suggestions tab. Oh, okay. I'll do it this way then. Okay. Oh, he can go through the thing. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I can reset. Okay, so I need to copy. I'm guessing I have to copy them 4 times in order to make this work. So you don't have to be right next to him. Oh, a fish can't move. Oh God, a fish can't move. Well, I have to copy their moves 4 times in a row. Five times. But I have to be on their level, right? I have to be like right across from them. Oh, I don't have to be on the same. Okay, it doesn't have to be, yeah, parallel. Okay. Oh, the rabbit can only move in the forest. Okay. Oh, we did fish sex. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, it's a mountain goat. Okay, so it goes in an L shape. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I have to figure out how to get to the... Wait, I gotta get to the clouds. Wait, can I use things I've already learned before? Or just the animals? Okay, I can. We're just kissing. We're just kissing in the rocks there. No, I know I gotta get to the bird, but the bird can only be in the clouds. So I think I need to mimic him, but I need to mimic him from here somehow. Damn it. Yeah, I can't do that. Wait a minute. Can I crawl across there? Oh, fucking yeah, okay. This is neat, dude. This is neat. Oh, I fundamentally changed his... Oh, okay. Okay. So you change his pattern if you move the thing that he's patterned on, like that rock. Interesting. Oh my God, they're doing the same thing. So he's a half rabbit, half deer hybrid thing. So I can travel on rocks and on the okay. I'm a beer. I am a beer or a rear. Oh, and then you get to the hard ones. Okay. Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. Mimic Meadows, man. A very Baba Is You coded kind of a game. Dig it. Okay. Now we're gonna roll on the other one again. Call it 88. All right. 1D 88. 24. Let's see what we got on the 24 spot. It is Entropy. Entropy. There we go. Turn-based RPG inspired by classic RPGs. Veto. I'm vetoing it. Veto. I'm gonna roll again. That one doesn't look like it's good for me. Dude, I'm out. Okay, let's try 87 now. $51 this time. Okay, let's see. 51 is Perfect Castle. Let's see what that one is. There we go. What's this? Dark fantasy interactive fiction RPG in a cruel medieval world. They're all, anything that is suggested, I go through it every day or every night and put them on the list. It's just anything that's suggested is on the list. That's it. And then I look at them, sometimes I veto. And sometimes I look at it and go like, that's a lot of words. That's a lot of reading. I'm out. No thanks. Okay, let's try again. 86. 18. What is that one? Death's Life 2. Let's see. Death's Life 2. Can I request a game from the Next Fest list? No, you cannot. A physics-based puzzle game where you play as Death, creating accidental deaths. Okay, that sounds fun. And there's no demo. Is there no demo? It says it's a part of the Next Fest. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, download demo. Oh, it's in a different spot. Oh my God. Gonna want to fix that, guys. You're gonna want to fix that. Physics-based puzzle game where you play as Death, creating accidental deaths through chain reactions, solve scenarios in multiple ways, or survive and escape from deadly trap-filled environments. Developed and published by Umbu Games, due out Q3 of this year. Okay. Let's get that up there. Nope. Come on now. Death's Life 2. Okay. Negritis, thank you for the 105 months. Cododozer with 59 before that. Rock Tart with 81. Death mode, you must interact with objects in the environment to help the Reaper create an accident that ends the life of its victim. In survivor mode, you must escape the traps, whatever. Okay. Try the modes in any order you like. Have a good game. Okay, I will. I will play. I will play death mode. Level 1. My apprentice returns. I checked the ledger. Your rank hasn't moved a single notch since we last spoke. A career of remarkable stillness. Fortunately for you, today I'll teach you new ways to claim our victims. Try to remember this, or try to remember a few this time. Every assignment has 2 phases. Plotting, where we are now, is when you arrange the scene. Execution is when the time flows and the subject acts. The sigils on the floor are moments we captured. Windows where she was exposed. Click the one on the right. You're permitted to move objects in the scene. Hey, you were looking for me? Yes, install button. I was looking for you. Drag the bottle to the marked spot. It snaps in once it's close enough. The subjects never notice these little adjustments. They never do. Scene is ready to press play. Okay. These are chain starters. The triggers we use to begin a chain reaction. The subject will not register when they stir. A scene may hold several of them, but only one can be ignited per attempt. Choose with care for this lesson. Click the fan. Subjects, a necessary lesson. Failure teaches more than success. Press restart and try again. The scene returns to its starting state with everything you arranged still in place. Press play once more to return to execution. It's time you learn about distractions. And they only function while the clock is running. Distraction will startle the subject and pull her toward the source. While she is fixed on it, pays no mind to what surrounds her, check the toilet or click the toilet to draw her over. Now ignite the chain. For now, the only way to move the subject across the scene is by changing distractions. One pulls her here, another pulls her there. Tall ones like a mirror also lift her gaze. She will not see what awaits at her feet. Click the mirror. Oh, now we watch, and she goes, whoop, then breaks her neck. Okay. Granted, gravity did most work, but the department does not record assists. Okay. Death wears many shapes. The same subject can meet a dozen different ends. Our craft is mastered only by trying each one. Press reset, and we begin again a new approach this time. This round, I give only hints. You must find the ending yourself. First hint. Some objects wake when touched. The hairdryer, for instance, switches on the moment anything bumps it. Useful in the right hands. I always read what each object describes during plotting. The toilet, for example, lists how something may interact with it and what end may come from that. The world tells you how to use it if you bother to read. From here, you walk alone. Try not to embarrass us. Water mixed with bleach reacts with alcohol. Alcohol gel. Oh. Okay, maybe I'm not getting how I make it blow. Because obviously what I'm trying to do is blow the alcohol into the toilet. Highlight, then click go. Oh, something's moving. It's moving this thing. Okay, how did I make the fucking, like, this thing fall? Oh. Okay, I guess it fell this time. All right, so. Reacts with alcohol. Yeah, please remind me what I do during the tutorial that I missed. Oh, I thought that's what I was doing with the fucking this thing. Is that not okay? Oh, it says chain starter. It'll say a chain starter. Not movable. Okay. Distraction object. Oh, this also contains alcohol. Oh, that was it. Okay. Okay. Okay, tutorial complete. Okay, next level, I guess. Okay. Distraction object. Chain starter. Okay. Repels metal objects. Not very fucking fast, apparently. Okay. Hold on. Can I? Oh, I just click on the circle, not her. Dude, what the fuck? Well, because obviously I want to get... okay. Oh, not rotate this. Rotate objects. There we go. What are you noticing? Jesus fucking Christ. Great, dude. Okay. Are you fucking serious, man? I don't even know if it'll do it. Oh, it. Okay, so we're gonna do this the dumb way then. Okay. It's pretty all right. I just don't have the patience to keep going with it, but you get it. I think I've told you or showed you what that game is all about at least. Okay, now on the B-sides, 42. 16. Let's see. Ooh, Happy Bastards. Okay, this one I've been looking forward to checking out. Okay, Happy Bastards. Okay, this one looked funny as shit. Let's download it real quick. There we go. Virtue, that's for suckers, but fame, priceless. Assemble unruly bastards into a mercenary squad and build your legend through reckless adventuring, bloody fights, lucrative looting, and dirty dealings. Choose your battles and your allies in this irreverent open world tactical RPG. Developed and published by Clever Plays. Release date TBA. Let's go. Can you show the top of the list? Yeah, they're all in alphabetical order. And also here. There you go. If you want to look at it. Vincent giving a sub to Gassy Mexican. Hell yeah, thank you. All right, let's see. Okay, enjoy the football later, you twat. Thank you, Vincent. BASTARDS. Happy Bastards. Okay. Your bastards for this combat playtest. Gary, Bonzo, Clive, and Jenny. Sounds good. Welcome to Happy Bastard Combat Demo. While the full game will be an open world tactical RPG, the playtest focuses on a single dungeon packed with traps, events, loot, and course combat. Before we jump in, here's a short cinematic to give you a bit of context and a glimpse of the open world this dungeon is part of. Okay. Boss, you said no last time, but would you please reconsider profit sharing? Shut up. Please, 3 bastards. Fight! Critted me? Oh wow, this has a lot of stats, man. Vince giving a sub to Sarkon. Sarkon D's nuts. hold on. 6 to 10 damage to a single target. Doesn't the shape make it look like it goes all the way around him? I guess not. Okay. Oh, it's not anybody else's turn but theirs. Okay. Oh, it just shows which squares I can choose. Yeah, sure. Oh. And now your turn. Kev! Oh, on a single target? Oh, no splash with a fucking Molotov? Really? Okay. Only gets one movement, huh? All right. Okay. Yep. Yeah, crossbow. Oh, he's got a shield, okay. Okay, the fire burned him. He's dead. All right. Oh, you're back up again, huh? Okay. There you go. Nice crit. Beautiful. Bitch. Your turn. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Oh, he's got to be back one. Okay. Oh, fuck. Attack of opportunity, motherfucking bitch. You suck, Clive. I'm gonna drink. Oh, eat shit. Fuck you, dude. Fine. No, whatever. I don't give a shit. Oh, and he... in order to attack, he's got to step back one. Oh, god damn. And then he gets an attack of opportunity, of course. Okay. So she disengages with that move. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know what? It's honestly, it's a bit much for me. At this point, I want to start from the beginning, but get it. I'm cool with it. I'll wait for the actual game to come out so I can start with like I don't know if you start with more than one character, but it's a lot to be thrown at you at once, and I don't jibe well with like here's a slice so you can do everything with every character in the demo. I'd rather just start with one and figure it out from there. But good start. Okay. Let's see. That was on my side, so the A side's now 85. Let's go 1d85. 45. Let's see what that is. Monster Shop Simulator. Let's see. Simulator, okay. Build and manage your own monster shop. Let's try again. Okay, 52 this time. Realms of Riddles. Okay. Wizard's Keep. Explore a magical castle in this first-person puzzle adventure. Let's go! Have I played the Amsterdam game yet? Nope, I haven't. I have not. Explore a magical castle in this first-person puzzle adventure. Solve puzzles across worlds connected by portals. Recover your lost memories and uncover what happened to your kingdom. Developed and published by Craftware GG. Says it's coming soon, whatever that means. All right. Let's see. Oh shit, now I forgot the name of it already. There, oh, it's right. Thank you. Realms of Riddles. Wizards. Keep. Oh. Opciones. Inglés. Ah, Inglés. Thank you. Okay. Please keep in mind the work in progress, right? Yeah, I got it. Game saves data automatically. At last, you open your eyes. I was starting to think you wouldn't wake up. You don't remember anything? Don't worry. Time for answers. Long story. I can do much from here. Better figure out how to get out of that cell. When you do, come find me. Okay, I will. All right, here we go. 5, 6, 4, 3. Magical stone with the extraordinary power to revive the dead. Its mystical glow hides the ancient secret of life and death, offering hope to reunite fallen loved ones and transcend boundaries of mortality. Oh. There you go.
If those ads
This one's gonna be 4. 1, 2, 2. What? Oh. I didn't know that worked. Flat, thin material. Oh my god, it's rock, paper, scissors. And he's doing rock. And now he's doing paper. And now he's doing scissors. Pawn key. Yo, Katie with the Rady. What up, baby? Nope. All right. Oh, hello. You want to let the dogs out and get them to poop before we go for our little excursion to the bar today to watch some football, football, some footy. I'll just call it footy. How about that? I'll just call it footy. Watch some footy. You're on it? Oh, thanks, honey. What the shit? Hey Zeke, as a wizard, are you in Realms of Riddles a lot? You know it. Oh, it shows you. Okay, so you gotta get. Okay. Nope. So you got to do one piece checkmate? Okay, okay, checkmate in one basically is what you got to do. Okay. So, we got the bishop covering here. But we got a rook there. So even if I put the rook there. I mean, what happens if I do? He comes and kills. Oh, and that's the end. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. You can't do it. Rook's got him. There you go. Okay. So you actually have to figure out chess puzzles. All right, you got to figure out mate in one puzzles. Is there a way to see what games you played already? Yeah, we haven't played yours, Sasaki. If it's still on the list. Oh, let me give you the list here. There you go. If it's still on the list, that means I haven't played it. Okay. So, Queen. No, it's not just that, is it? Not just that, is it? It is just that, okay. All right. Both of those. Oh yeah, okay. Oh wait a minute. He's just gonna take the. No, he can't. Okay, okay, never mind. Okay. Blorp. And we did it! The potion book, the potion book. Where did I leave it? Give me them titties. Give me them titties. Give me them titties. I want to see your asshole. Give me them titties. Give me them titties. Give me them titties. I want to see your asshole. The potion book, where did I leave it? Oh, my dear potion book, could you have been lost among these chaotic tomes? Ah, there you are at last. Need your help. I've managed to find it. We can undo the spell. Could you look for it? Organizing the shelf will help you. Oh, no jumpies. No jumpies. Okay. Can't grab any of those. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Okay. Oh. Ha ha. Use the fucking stool. Oh, there's 2 more? Fuck. Shit. Dick. First, you have to organize a library. Ah, there we go. Not all in here then, eh? Oh, there we go. Well, yeah. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I fuck it up? Did I fuck up the 4 and the 5? Or 4 and the 6? Oh my God, inspect it. In this book, you see a piece of underlined text. A large metal container through magical powers, its ability to mix up some...
Long time no see, Zeke and Zekeonia. Been a long while. Haven't honestly been on Twitch for a while, but
thank you,
kept up the
Cirrus.
support. Zeke love, hope all is well.
Thank you very much, Grimsley with 126 months, Cirrus with 8. Hell yeah, dude. In this book, you can see a piece of a generally decorative container of varied shape designed to hold flowers, plants, or other ornamental objects. Ah, 4. So this one goes in the 4 slot because it's vases, whatever. There. Okay. Person in prison due to their criminal actions. A prisoner. How many prisoners are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. There you go. This one. Carried by the most illustrious guardians, this object is distinguished by the wings that emerge from its silhouette, by the central emblem that radiates power in all directions. The wings that emerge from its silhouette. Oh, there it is. Aha, ha, ha. That's 8, though. I don't... What number would that be? Oh, how many of them are there? There's 2 of them. Okay, there's only 2. 2 shields total. Okay. Yeah, okay. Small, flat, usually metallic disc used as unit of value in economic transactions. There's 5 coins. Long, sharp object used in bows to propel toward a target. That is 3 for the arrows that are sticking out of the shield. Aha! There we go. We did it, guys. Chapter 1. Oh, red, green, purple. Oh, shit. Do it again. Do it again. Oh, god damn it. Red. Green. Purple. And was it yellow, blue, or blue, yellow? Fuck it, I'm just gonna say yellow, blue. Damn it! Green, purple, yellow, red, blue. Yellow, green, blue, purple, red. Yellow, green, blue, purple, red. Yellow. What? Oh, it's, oh, backwards. Shit. Red, green, purple, blue, yellow. Red, green, purple. Okay. Final chapter. Red, red, green. Oh my god, it's shaking its head. Oh, fuck. God damn it, dude. It's shaking its head and nodding. I hate it. I hate you. Just give me one and fuck it up. Give me one and fuck it up. There you go. Okay, let's try again. Blue. Green. Red. Yellow. It has to be purple. Yeah, there you go. Blue, green, red. Blue, green, red. Blue. Green. Red. Yellow. Purple. How'd we do? Where'd the fucking book go now? Oh, shit's happening. It's gonna power up the crystal. Or the power of Grayskull. Why will that number shine in the cardinal direction? Oh. Okay. We get it. We get it. Okay. I hate to do this, but I got a footy match to watch, guys. I gotta go watch some footy today. So we are going to like I said before, I told you guys before, I'm going to cut the stream short a little bit today. A little bit short today. I'm going to go watch the England match at an Irish pub, I guess, which will be my first full footy match in forever and since ever. I've never watched a full footy match. So I'm excited. I know I have an English friend who wants to watch their country play in the fucking World Cup. So that's what I'm going to go do. But we have, wait. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yes, we have 3 more full days of nothing but demos. 3 more full days of nothing but demos, baby. So come on back tomorrow. We'll be playing some more demos. For now, I gotta go. I'm late for a very important date.
I hope LeBron James scores many field goals with his hockey stick in your footy match.
I do too, Kinjara. Do they use hockey sticks? Do they do that? Anyways, see you guys later. See you guys tomorrow.
And until next time, for all of my Berserkers, and for all of Zekonia, this is me, Zeke, saying, Go England! Or whatever. Yay, sports.